calls on all the big races. Welcome along to What a Shout, brought to you by the Racing Post and sponsored by Betfred. Well, this is what we've got in store for you over the next 45 minutes or so. We've got some top tipsters, obviously. We've got plenty of fun, and we'll be concentrating on the big 5 races that take place on Saturday, mainly from Sandown and a couple, from Beverley too. We've got Paul Kealy in the house. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, not so bad. Still getting over Alligator Alley winning at Newcastle last night. Very painful that was. Would have won me a fortune at York. Got beat by about that much. Came out and I decided not to back him for some reason last night, which was rather stupid of me. Won very easily. But
story of your life.
Yeah.
Next time.
Still think I'm seeing the ball quite big though. I'm going close with horses anyway.
I think you're churning out winners. The last month or so, things have been going pretty well.
Right. I mean, York Day 1 was brilliant.
Yeah, was York good?
York Day 1 was fantastic. The rest of the week I had some near misses, not so many winners, but yeah, it's been going all right.
Do you start getting ideas, big anti-post ideas in your head now for things further down the line later in the season? Or
not masses, unless I'm asked to have a look. I did start looking at the Champion Stakes, funny enough, the other day, and I thought, you know, the horse that gave Ace Impact a run last time, Al Riffa, trained in Ireland. I mean, it's not going to take an awful lot to be very soft ground at Ascot this year, is it? Given how much rain we've had all summer.
Well, given us summer,
33 to 1. I mean, if he runs in that, there's no way it'll be 33 to 1 on the day. So I've had a couple of quid on him.
Good stuff. Well, we'll pick your brains, I should say, over the course of time. An external welcome along to Tom Park. Tom, how are you?
I am, very good. Very happy to be on the show.
Good. How has your punting brain been working over the last few weeks?
It's been frustrating. I did the right thing at York on the Wednesday and took on all the favourites, just kept picking the wrong ones. I had an enormous amount of seconds, which was frustrating. Got a little bit back on the Thursday and Friday with some, and then had a really bad day on Saturday, so I've kind of been licking my wounds since, but looking forward to the weekend and getting back stuck in and taking on the bookies. So
good stuff. And Frankie Foster, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, I'm all right, yeah. A little bit slow after a wedding. I've hit the age where my school friends are getting married, so it's weddings and stag do's coming thick and fast, but I'm all good, looking forward. I'm going up to Chester tomorrow.
Far better than funerals, Frankie. When you get to my age.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Paul. I'll take the weddings over funerals for sure. And then, Chester tomorrow. Just look forward to see how military order gets on.
You've had quite a nice week, haven't you? Because you were in the studio last Friday and you said, for once, I've actually got a bit of time to myself.
Yeah, quiet week. So did make the most of the wedding. And I am actually, we were talking before, I'm off to Turkey, not for any updates on my hair, but holiday next week. So I've had a good run this month. I'm not complaining.
Good stuff. Well, there isn't a better time to sign up to the Racing Post Members Club. You can get your first 2 months for just £9.99. Check this out.
Are you ready to take your passion for horse racing to the next level? With Racing Post Members Club, you gain exclusive access to the best racing insights, analysis and tools. Immerse yourself in award-winning content, from interviews with the sport's biggest stars to race previews and behind-the-scenes features. Get the inside track with early access to the Racing Post digital newspaper from 9 p.m. in the evening and daily selections from our expert tipsters. Racing Post Members Club is your ultimate ticket to the thrilling world of racing. Subscribe today and pay just £9.99 per month for the first 2 months with the code SUMMER. See the link in the video description for more information. Terms apply.
Well, this is a change up to What a Shout. My name's Dave Lowe and I'll be taking over the interview here, and I'm delighted to be joined on the phone by Sean Levey. How are you, Sean?
Yeah, I'm very good, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, well, good. I wanted to just first off by talking about a couple of horses that you've had a good success on this year. Rossa Lion in the looked very, very impressive on King's George Day in the listed race. Is probably the best 2-year-old in Britain right now. What's the plans for him?
Look, as far as I know, the plan had been in mind to go to the Champagne Stakes in Doncaster, which is in a couple of weeks' time. And I think we're still set for that plan.
Yeah, and the Champagne Stakes is a race that Richard Haddon's got a great record in. He's won 5 of the races since 2010, so he obviously knows how to win the race.
No, of course. It just seems the right stepping stone for this lad. I'd imagine he'd go there. Obviously, I don't think he's ground dependent, but at the same time, we'd like to hope we get good ground on that day, and use that as a stepping stone maybe to the Dewhurst, and then having in mind he's going to be probably a Guineas potential as a real.
Yeah, I know Richard was very keen on the Guineas. Does he think this is probably his best Guineas hope for next year?
Look, I think as far as things stand at the moment, we do have a few nice backward types that are coming to hand. But at the same time, he's done no wrong. He would obviously have to prove himself worthy, so to speak, and by winning the Champagne Stakes and then maybe taking on the Dewhurst, I think we'll know more. Once he's taken those races on.
Yeah, and another horse I would like to touch on is Witch Hunter. Obviously, he won the Buckingham Palace, and then he stepped up to Group 2 level and won the Hungerford Stakes. Could he now be a Group 1 level horse?
Look, to be fair, I thought it was a strong Hungerford on face value, and I think everything kind of ran to suit him, so to speak. He got the pace that he's always thrived off of, and he also ran on ground that he seems to enjoy. He's taken a huge step forward by winning the Hungerford, and it seems the most logical thing to do to see how capable he is in Group 1 company. But that said, look, it's up to the owners. I'm pretty sure they want to travel, and they got the right kind of horse to do that with. I think potentially there's probably a race in France for him, and I did think Hong Kong was maybe mentioned.
Well, let's see where he goes next then. Let's start off by looking at your rides on Saturday at Sandown. You've got a decent book at rides there, and you start off in the Atalanta Stakes with Heredite. She ran a fantastic race last time at Haydock. You must have been impressed with that.
No, look, hugely impressed. We always liked the filly, especially after she won the Tangram. But she just never took that step forward after that race, not for any obvious reasons, but I think it's safe to say that a mile is definitely what she wants now, and not only that, she took such a step forward in Haydock that let us think that she definitely deserves to be taking her chance in the Group 3, and I'd be hoping she's a little bit better than that, and she can prove that on Saturday.
Yeah, she won a Sandown last year at Ascot and then went to Sandown and got beat at odds on. Would that be a concern for you at all?
Look, obviously a huge concern, but I don't think that was solely the fault of the track. Probably a couple of other things. Maybe looking back in it now, she probably ran back a little bit too quick, and I wasn't happy the way she behaved before the race on that occasion. I think things got to her a little bit. And that was probably because, in hindsight, she probably had a hard race in the Sandown. But look, you get that with fillies a lot of the time, and she's in a good place now, and she's had plenty of times in Haydock, and her work has been, very good, really. Not that it's never ever been bad. But look, to answer your question, it's always a concern going to a track that she hasn't performed on before. But that said, I think she's in a better place than she was when she last ran there.
Okay. So let's move on to the Solario Stakes, where you ran Innisfrolin. Now, he's the actual outsider of the field. I think he's like 20-1 with Betfred. But he's actually improved with every single run this year. Has he got more improvement in him to make this step up?
Look, he's going to have more improvement in him to be competitive on the day, no doubt. But he does set a good benchmark. He went up £3 off 87, albeit after getting beat in York. He still went up £7, and I think he's running off 90 on this occasion. Which sets a nice standard, I suppose. But look, it's one of those races that trainers normally aim towards with really nice type. Or horses they expect they're going to be nice types. On this occasion, the majority of them are very unexposed. So a lot of them are going there with expectation in mind, as opposed to what the form suggests. So look, no doubt he can more than likely run into a very good horse on the day, but I think he had every chance of running into a place, as he is an improving horse.
Yeah, and obviously there's been a bit of rain around at Sandown today, so the conditions could get a bit testing there. Would that sort of ground be in his favour?
I thought, his best performance to date was on Good to Firm in York on that day. So you'd like to imagine that's kind of what he wants. But that said, he has a lot of experience. And, you know, if the ground did get a little bit softer, you'd imagine his experience would see him through.
Excellent. And your next ride is Circe for Richard Hannon. Obviously, we don't really know much about her. What can you tell us?
Circe, look, it's one of those. We have a lot of horses coming to hand now, nice backward types. And she is definitely one of those. Her work's been nice enough to start. And, you know, she'd be starting tomorrow with progression in mind, you know?
Yeah, obviously Richard gets his 2-year-olds ready. Will this one be ready to go for a race like this?
To be fair, ours are always ready to go. They're always very educated on what they do at home. But at the same time, we try not to press too many buttons and, you know, let the racing kind of more so tell us where we are with them. Like I said, she is a nice type. She's ready to start. But again, we're looking for, you know, the future in mind here.
Excellent. And then your last rider is Rating, who looks to have a bit to find in this race. What do you think of her chances?
Rating's been very in and out. To be fair, I think we thought she would win a maiden, and albeit she hasn't done so yet. But as a result, she was very competitive her first 3 runs. And I think the handicapper has her exactly where she ought to be. So I would say she's not running on this occasion with much up her sleeve. But that said, she made a nice step forward last time, and her work's been nice at home. So I'd be going there with, you know, I'll go there feeling very optimistic that she can run a big race.
Brilliant. So out of your 4 rides at Sandown, which one would you say is the best chance of seeing you in the winner's enclosure?
To be honest, I would side with Iridia, more so because she's getting the majority of all the conditions she wants. You know, there's a lot of pace in that race. You know, I think she's third on speed ratings on the day. She's second on ratings. On the day she ticks a lot of boxes. I could have done with a better draw, but I would have to side with her as far as you know, getting all the right conditions and having the best crack at it.
Well, brilliant. Sean, thank you ever so much for joining us on What a Shout today. I know you drove to Foss last now, so good luck tonight and good luck tomorrow at Sandown.
No worries, appreciate it. You have a good day.
We are going to head to Beverley for the 205 there. It's a 1.5 mile handicap. How do they bet here, Frankie?
Yeah, it's tight. Ian Williams has the top 2, both at 4-1. That's Dancing in Paris and Dream Harder. Perfect Play, who's been placed the last 3 times, 9-2. Fulfilled, also 9-2. Emmerich, 5s. Omniton, I thought was potentially overpriced at 8s. And then 10s and 12s for the bottom 2.
Keels, a very easy, straightforward handicap to kick off the programme for you.
Actually, it is for me.
Okay, come on.
Yeah,
good,
I think Frankie alluded to it. I think the entire race revolves around what sort of form Omniscient's in, because if he comes back to the form of his 7th in the Northumberland Plate, well, if he'd come straight here after that, it'd be about 2-1, because he was a real eye catcher there. He obviously didn't quite stay 2 mile. He was only beaten 4 lengths in a Northumberland Plate. He's run 2 stinkers since, but one of them was absolutely bottomless ground at Goodwood on the Saturday. You know, meeting abandoned halfway through. And last time they attempted hold-up tactics at Sandown in a slow run race, and he fought Luke Morris for about a mile. So I think I can throw both of those runs out. And he's still got the potential to be better than these. And he's dropping back in trip, which, given a horse that can be keen, his 2 wins last season, he raced prominently and won very easily. 1 over 1 mile 2, 1 over 1 mile 4. And going back to 1 mile 4 on a stiff track, if they don't fight him and just let him get on with it, maybe sit behind one of the 2 front runners that there are in the race, I think he'd be too good for him.
Great. I thought Fulfilled was probably an interesting danger. Won at Lingfield back in June and ran well at Windsor. Subsequently, Tom, what did you make of this?
Yeah, I've got Dancing in Paris is a little bit of a cliff horse for me, and I'm actually going to give up. So I'm taking a little bit of a chance. You know what happens when you give up on cliff horses? I just think that he had a £5 claimer on last time, and he's up £3 as well. So he's essentially up £8 for that run. And I'm just going to, it's one step too far. He's been running really well without winning, and he's high enough in the handicap now for me. So I'm going to take a chance on Emmerich. Just can't get out my head how causally he won at Doncaster a couple of starts ago. He then ran well enough at Royal Ascot, absolutely hated the ground when stepped up to 1 mile 6 at Newmarket last time. It was officially good, but it was a lot softer than that. They had a big deluge. Better service here, back down to 1 mile 4. I just think we might see the Doncaster version of him, and I think he'll be very tough to beat in that case.
Good stuff. Well, I'm quite looking forward to the next race we're gonna preview. The 225 from Sandown, the Atalanta Stakes, Group 3 over a mile, and the top two heading the market have won the Sandringham for the last 2 years. Frankie, what's likely to go a favourite here?
Coppice at the moment, 10-3. Who won well, didn't she, at the Royal meeting? Heredia, a 9-2, won well last time out. Midnight Mile 11th. Potapova, last year's winner, 13-2. Queen for You also 13-2, and then we're bigger for the rest of them.
Keels, we'll start with Coppice. I've just alluded to the fact that she won the Sandringham this year. Heredia won it last year. Then wasn't good enough, but the fact they gave her an attempt in a Group 1 in the Falmouth, it's not the kind of thing that John and Thady Gosden do lightly, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, she wasn't entirely disgraced anyway, but I mean, she still needs to improve to win this. She needs to improve on the Sandringham form to win this, and obviously, she might do. But remember, Potapova was tried in, I think, on her third start. She ran in a Coronation Stakes straight out of novice company at Royal Ascot last year. She then came to this race and ran the best race of her life up to that point on a full start, finishing 4th to Saffron Beach. And she came back to Sandown last year and won this race very, very easily. I like the idea that she's a Sandown horse. And that win last year is comfortably the best piece of form in the race, I think. And if she repeats it, she'll be very hard to beat. Heredia, who returned to form last time, she
very impressive at Haydock.
She was very impressive. She beat Purple Pay, who's a proper mudlark, I think, and who's in this race. Will appreciate the rain that they've just had this morning, but I think it'd probably dry out again. I would say the only thing about Heredia was when she won the Sandringham last year, she was massively impressive. She went to Sandown afterwards as an odds-on shot. She didn't seem to be enjoying it at all. She was beating at odds-on, so she's got it to prove at the track. Going back to Sandown after another almost career best or possibly career best last time, just a few weeks later, going back to Sandown, which she didn't seem to enjoy herself last time.
How much do you think Sandown is a horses for courses track?
Well, I think all courses are,
I agree,
in certain respects, because turf is different pretty much everywhere, isn't it? The earth is different. What's underneath? You have your chalks at Epsom, and you have the Knavesmire, the mud up there, and they're all different. And that's why you get horses for courses.
Tom, what are your thoughts on this race?
Yeah, very similar to Keels. I'm a big fan of Potapova. I just love the way she won this race last year. If you look at her form figures this year, pulled up fifth. She's dropped from a mark of 110 to 105. But you'd think she's on the decline, but she's run 2 really good races on the last 2 starts in defeat. She looked like she was going to win at one point at Epsom. She just got a bit tight for room and got drawn down the camber. And then the race at Royal Ascot just didn't pan out. It paid to be towards the front. I know Rogue Millennium did come from somewhere towards the back, but the rest of them were all towards the front, and that just really didn't suit her. And yeah, she loves it here, and I think Sandown is a big horses for courses track. I love backing horses who've ran well here. My only slight concern is Stout's form. I think Passengers is only winner in the last 2 weeks out of 13 runners, but I really like Potapova's chances here. I think she's still a fair price, albeit you could have got bigger if you'd have followed Paul Kealy's anti-post advice in the weekend earlier in the week.
2 good minds aligning. I love it. We move on to the Beverley Bullet at 240. It is, as you suggest, it's 5 furlongs and it's fast. It's a listed race. Frankie, what's going to be favourite here?
There's a tricky little race this, and we are paying an extra place. So a small field, but you can get 3 places. Silky Wilkie will go off favourite 3-1, and Apollo 1 10-3. They're both kind of similar profiles, those two. Kurdos 7-2. Judicial, talking about horses for courses, has won plenty of times, all placed at Beverley 5s, and then we're bigger for the bottom 3.
I feel like from memory I backed Judicial in this about 3 years ago. I mean, I haven't looked. How many times has it ran in the race?
He was an 8-year-old then, wasn't he? You know what I mean?
I know. It just keeps appearing. Interesting, I thought. Silky Wilkie top rated at 108. some good form, second in the Dash, second in a York listed race. Was she appealing to you?
I liked him after he won.
Him, I should say.
After he won at Musselburgh early in the year. I always thought that he won by a wide margin, and horses that do that in Class 2 handicaps tend to be a lot better. So he's sort of disappointed me a little bit. He nearly won the Dash, of course.
Yes.
And he bounced back to form last night. Finished 4th at Newcastle. I think it's between him and Apollo 1. If you actually look at last time out performances on RPRs, those two are an absolutely country mile ahead
Of everything else.
What everything else did last time out. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was 2-1 each or 2 and everything else drifted, because none of the others got form. I know Tis Marvellous has won it for the last 2 years, but Tis Marvellous has not run within 2 stone of the level he needs to repeat the feat in 3 starts in 2023.
Do you think Apollo 1 is maybe better at 6, or do you feel that he's got the speed
I don't know,
for 5?
because his tries at 5, but he's got plenty of pace, hasn't he? He has got plenty of pace, so I think it's well worth a try. I mean, see what he's done this year. He's been unlucky, isn't he? I mean, finishing second in a Wokingham on good to firm ground, then in a Stewards Cup on bottomless ground. They abandoned the meeting after that race. Just shows how versatile he's just improving with every single start, isn't he? So I'm going to go with him. Obviously Silky Wilkie had a hard enough race the other day. He's got to come out of that. With sprinters, I'm sure it's fine, but they've still got to make that decision, haven't they? So yeah, be Apollo 1 for me. He deserves to get his head in front. And I can't see where the other dangers are coming from, because they've got to improve in a big way on what they've been doing recently.
Tom, do you read this the same way? It looks between the top 2.
Yeah, I do. I actually napped Apollo 1 in the RFO this week, so I promise you I'm not just copying off Kealy's.
I followed it first.
I'll come to you first for the next race.
Yeah, look, it takes some effort to finish second in feature handicaps on Derby Day, Royal Ascot, Glorious Goodwood. That's some fun. I think he was 3rd on Guineas Day as well. So he's remarkably consistent. And it hasn't been anything untoward that he's not been winning them races. He's been so consistent, and he's just not got his head in front. There's just always been one that's just got past him. And I just think he's maybe even perhaps running out of puff in them kind of strongly run fields over 6. So I don't think the drop back to 5 will be a problem at all here. I think it might even bring out more improvement. And yeah, I just think that handicap form in races like the Wokingham and the Stewards Cup and stuff, that's really strong form. And I think he'll take all the beating here. Agree about Silky Wilkie. He was one of my horses to follow this season, and he's just disappointing me a little bit. And as you said, he ran a lot better at Newcastle the other day, but he's still not turned out to be the horse that I thought he would end up. And I just think Apollo 1, I think he's rock solid here. I think he'll take all the beating.
Good stuff. Well, let's move on to the 3 o'clock at Sandown, a 1.25 mile handicap, uber competitive. Frankie, can you shed any light on this?
It is, yes. And again, we're paying an extra place. So hopefully if there's one at a price that the gents like, then you will be getting 4 places with us. Eagles Way tops the market 11-2. Lord Protector 6 is Garcia, and Dual Identity both 13-2. Educator is 8. And then, we're getting bigger. I actually like one right down the bottom, Andaleep, who finished behind the favourite Eagles Way and gets £5 tomorrow. Will have to bounce back to form, but has a good bit of Sandown form as well. So I'll take a swing at one at a price here.
Tom, I'll come to you first here, so you can get in first with your chat. What do you make of this?
I actually thought Ghazi would be favourite, so I kind of spent a lot of time trying to get him beat, but he's actually going off a bigger price than I thought. Just the fact that he went off 11-8 at Ascot last time. He's still a little bit disappointing 4th, so I will still take him on. The one I'm keen on is Stay Well. He's slid down the handicap this season, but I think he's just been finding the trips that he's been run over too far. Looked much better at Windsor last time over 1 mile 3.5, but I think the drop back to 1 mile 2 here, where he looked so comfortable last year, is going to be a big bonus. He's got Oisin Murphy on board. And I just think he looks really well handicapped, so Stay Well for me.
Keels?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting point for this for me is that Eagles Way is joint favourite, trained by Sir Mark Prescott. And Luke Morris has gone to ride Omniscient at a bigger price in a less valuable race at Beverley. Eagles Way's obviously got his chance. I thought, the one that stands out on Sandown form was Lord Protector. 1-2-1 is form there. The last win from Haunting Dream was very good. I mean, I think the second and fifth have finished third and fifth in a big race in a good race at York next time. It's rock solid form, and he's just a Sandown horse.
He didn't run badly at Goodwood either, did he, last time? Really?
No. He's fine, but he's just a Sandown horse, isn't he? And I think he'll like it there. I fear Garci. He was extremely well backed at York before coming out. He was like 10s down to 5s. They decided the ground was way too fast for him then. If they've had as much rain as I'm told they've had in the last half an hour, just take the sting out of it by race time tomorrow. So, and dropping back in trip might actually be the making of him, because he's been running over 1.5 miles for ages, and he could just do with a stronger run race, I think. However, you don't always get them at Sandown, do you?
No.
And it tends to be one of the courses where you get the most falsely run races. Amazing number of races won from the front, because they know there's a real steep uphill finish, and
I was just
they
about
go
to say,
so slow.
but because when you look at it, you just wouldn't think that would be the obvious,
No,
with
it's funny.
the incline. But
horses, courses
they reverse
with
tactics.
Courses with an uphill finish, all the jockeys know that they need to save a bit.
Yes.
Whereas courses with a downhill finish, they all go miles too fast, and that's where you get the finishes from. That's where you get your fast finishes. It's strange, isn't it? But that's the case. If there was loads and loads and loads of rain, Dashing Roger would be of interest. An absolute rag. He actually got very, very well backed at Goodwood last time, but the meeting was abandoned before he got the chance to run. He's got some very good form. He's was 100 horse in the past, and he was actually quite an eye catcher on one of his runs this year. But I think he definitely does need some rain.
Well, the feature race of the day at Sandown is the Virgin Bet Solario Stakes, a Group 3 for 2-year-olds over 7 furlongs. Intriguing race, looking forward to it very much. It's always a race to follow for the future. Frankie, what's going to go a favourite here?
At the moment, I think we might have a pair at the top of the market. Star Law, 5-2, who started out winning over course and distance, and Mortlake also 5-2, who pulled away from the field nicely last time out. Arbland 7-2, Devil's Point 5s, Cerulean Bay 9-1, and then Inish Fallen 14s.
5-2 joint favourites. Tom, do either of those appeal to you?
Yeah, I like Starlaw. This is a tough race. It's not one that I'll be going mad on from a betting front. I think there are a lot of questions to be answered. We're going to find out an awful lot about this race. But similar to what we were saying before, I just like the fact that this horse has won at Sandown. He travelled really well and produced a really nice turn of foot, and then did his best to kind of throw the race away. But he still won. While the second hasn't really done much to the form, the third won his next 2 starts and is rated 105 now, I think. So that form's working out well. I think the 5th, Devil's Point, won well next time. He's reopposing here and is quietly fancied. So yeah, I'm going to go with Starlaw, and yeah, hope that Sir Michael Stout's form's kind of turned around, and Potapova hopefully will have done the job earlier in the card, so we won't necessarily be worried about that. But yeah, I'm going to go for Starlaw.
Quick word on Mortlake, who was very impressive at Leicester, winning nicely. Impressive on the clock, or what did you make of it?
Well, I mean, there were 4 7-furlong races run that day, and he was fastest of them, not by a long way. I mean, the other winner was Rafe Beckett's other 2-year-old on the card. It was very impressive as well. I like the way he went clear, though. I mean, it was really taken on the eye, wasn't it? I mean, we don't know what he thinks of him, but I mean, he's certainly bred well enough. It's funny, this race. It's either won by a very, very good horse or some remarkably average ones, isn't it? I mean, you've got Guineas winners and Derby winners, and then some very average horses. I'm not getting the feeling that it's brilliant at the moment, but you never know. Ablan of Charlie Appleby's, again, he's only won a Newmarket maiden at odds on by only half a length. I mean, we gave it an RPR of 90, which is quite high. Got to have a chance. They've run some good horses in the past, including Massar. I was looking, Charlie Appleby. We all keep looking at him and saying he's out of form, don't we, all the time? Because he hasn't had all the big winners that he had last year. Obviously, he set a prize money record by more than 6 million, and he's way down on that this year. He's still got the highest strike rate of any trainer in like the top 50 in the championship. Like, you know what I mean? So he isn't doing much wrong. He just hasn't got the tools right at the top. And he has said where we're going to come into our own is in the autumn with the 2-year-olds. So this may be one of them.
This went off odds on first time out as well. They don't really get it wrong, do they? When they punt them first time, they're generally...
A lot of his 2-year-olds tend to be very green early as well.
Yeah.
You know, they tend to start to work it. So he could be the one. But I have backed Mortlake because I was very impressed with the way he went away at the end, and it was very fast ground at Leicester. I think it'll still be quick enough tomorrow. So that was the one I went with. But it wouldn't surprise me if Ablan turned out to be good.
Well, before we get stuck into our weekend apps, go check out racingpost.com/free bets to see how you may be able to get £200 for yourself. Frankie, you're heading to Chester tomorrow. Is that where you're napping up your best bet of the weekend?
It's not going to be, no. That's a job for tomorrow morning to get stuck into the Chester card. I like Coppice. Just a trader thought that you kind of mentioned that she was well back to the Royal Meeting, and then, you know, to stick her in a Group 1, they must think highly of her. So I'm hoping she's good enough to win that. But I'm going to stick with Amdaleep, the horse I mentioned in the 3 o'clock at Sandown. Ran a stinker last time out, but if bouncing back to the form of the previous race, and given that he's got good Sandown form, I think can outrun his odds anyway. You'd probably like to see a bit of money for him because they usually get back, don't they, when they fancy one, Daniel and Claire Kluber's. But I think Amdaleep's overpriced in the 3 o'clock.
Tom, from what you've said so far, I get the impression it's going to be one of Sir Michael Stout's too?
It's not actually, no. It very nearly was. Very nearly was put up over, but similar theme to what we've been talking about. I'm going for a horse who's won recently at Sandown. Tough enough in the 150 at Sandown on Saturday. Loved how he travelled through the race on his first start over 7 furlongs. He just got away with it stamina-wise. Like he's got a lot of speed, but it was pretty bad ground there. Better ground this time. I think he's still got way more to offer. I think so. Tough enough in the 150 at Sandown.
Keels, you're not going to Sandown, you said tomorrow. You live down the road,
I only live down the road. I don't know why I'm not going
store
then.
tonight?
Yeah, I've got a heavy night in store tonight. That's the problem.
What followed on from last night's and the night before?
Last night, but not the night before. I am going to go for Omniscient in the opener at Beverley. Can outclass them in what is only an average handicap, really.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to go for Silky Wilkie. I totally get that in my book and agree with you that Apollo 1 is going to be tough to beat, but the only question mark to me would be the trip there, and I thought it was between the two, so I'm going to give him a chance. Right, everybody, what are you up to for the weekend? Well, Frankie, you're off to Chester, and a wedding after, or...
No, the wedding's been gone. No, the wedding was yesterday. And then, so I'm in Cheltenham today, back home, and then Chester tomorrow for my second last Saturday, I think. I do all their Saturdays, it's great fun. And I've got this one and one more.
Perfect.
And then not much else. Yeah, chilling.
Good stuff. Well, great to have you on the programme. As always, enjoy Chester tomorrow. And Tom, what about you? What are you up to for the weekend?
Well, at the moment, I've currently got a torn tendon in my hand, so I'll be getting that fixed up. There won't be any golf for some time, which is a shame, but I'll have the painful, even more painful than tearing a tendon, experience of watching Sunderland play tomorrow. So I'll be heading up there. No racing for me this weekend, but I'll be following. It's an early kick-off the Sunderland match, so I'll be back in time to follow all the racing. So
good stuff. Enjoy it. Thanks for coming on the programme. Keels, what are you up to? Well, you're not going racing.
Not going racing.
Recovering.
No, not going racing. Recovering, and Mrs. K has put me under orders to go back on the diet because we've got a wedding in America in a couple of weeks' time, and the new suits are in danger of being left in the wardrobe.
Hang on, does the diet mean no alcohol?
No, it means no carbs, so I'll have to go on short.
So no beer?
Yeah, no beer.
Okay. Well, that's a sort of fair compromise. When are you off anyway? You're heading off for
not
about
till
a
the
month
18th of September, yeah.
Oh no, for how long?
Just over 3 weeks.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Well, thank you very much, as always, for coming in, joining us on the programme. Hopefully, we've steered you in the direction of a few winners in the feature races tomorrow. Keep getting in touch with questions for the panel via the comments below or on Twitter with the hashtag /hashtag, I should say, What a Shout. We'll be back with you next week, next Friday. Good luck punting. See you then.